Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a horrible dreary day in LA. Got the raincoat on because it's actually raining here right now. So today you can probably see we have another build to go through. This is one of the custom builds that I have done and I actually have not used it that much or done a huge amount to this one externally. As you can probably see, it's pretty bare bones, this one. But this is the Tokyo Marui, of course it is. MWS, this doesn't fit on here, which is kind of a bit dangerous for me to do that, but it's quite nice for you guys to be able to see it. This is the Tokyo Marui MTR16. It is obviously based on that kind of MWS system. So you know I love Tokyo Marui, know I love gas blowbacks. That MWS system is what this is. And this is actually, as I said, one I haven't used that much, but one that was a more recent purchase, probably about 6-9 months ago. It's one of those ones where you talk yourself into getting it, you know, like, oh, you know, this would be so good because I don't have to do that much to it and it's going to cost money now, but I don't really have one that's a longer one that's going to be a DMR, so therefore, you know, I need to get it, you know, how can I not get it? So it's one of those ones, one that I have never really played with, but to kind of give you guys a background of what I'm going to go through in this video. I'm going to kind of go through the features and the upgrades of kind of this thing. What I've done to it is going to be the next thing. I'm also going to compare it to another MWS I have at a similar price point, which is the Tokyo Marui Mark 18 MWS, because I think that's quite an interesting one to compare it to. And kind of we'll go from there. And I'll try and give you guys a little bit of a shot at the end of it. So why this build? It's another custom build, of course. I love the gas blowbacks, as I said. One thing that I did like about this is it's a more modern design. So as you can probably tell when you're looking at it here, it's more, you know, it's not really based on a real steel firearm. It's very similar to what a lot of people would do, kind of like custom builds, a civilian gun that they would end up. This is not a real gun, YouTube. This is an airsoft gun, so please don't demonetize the video. But this is much more of a, almost like that race gun style, you know, someone who's built it for performance. It's not really done in your more camouflaged way. You know, it's got a silver outer barrel here that's not really the most camo thing you've ever seen, and the look of it is it's been very like skeletonized, so it's got M-lock on it, but it's much more of that kind of modern design. So I liked that because actually what it meant for me is a lot of the time I'll buy a replica and then I'll end up changing out the handrail because I don't like it or I want to make it look a bit different. With this, when I saw it and part of me talking myself into getting it was, oh wait, I can buy this. It literally has this M-lock very lightweight rail, so I don't need to like transfer, do anything different. I can just do all my attachments. It's got tons of rail space, which I haven't used, but it allows me to do anything with that. It's got QD, you know, like M-lock quick detach sling points, so that's great. I don't need to buy anything like that. Ambidextrous controls, like your fire selector here is ambidextrous, so that's great, even though I don't really care about that. But again, it's one of those things you talk yourself into. The quality of this I knew was going to be good because it's Tokyo Marui. It's an MWS. It's going to perform really well. And so I knew already that there's not much really I'd have to do to it internally. I have done some stuff, which I'll talk you through in a second. But realistically, you can take these things out of the box. You can play with them. All's good. So again, another way of me talking myself into buying it. And the other thing that I noticed, which I didn't know before I bought this, but this thing's very light. Like, it's a long gun. It's a 16-inch barrel. As you can tell, it's MTR-16 because that's a 16-inch barrel. But the actual gun is very, very lightweight. And it's lighter than actually, I think, any of my other MWSs that are smaller. So that is something I didn't know about when I bought it. But actually, like, it's a very cool thing about this, I think, because if you're going to have more of a DMR build, it is quite nice to lose some weight in some places, and it doesn't look cheap and it doesn't look light, but it is actually a very lightweight gun when you've got it. So what else are we going to talk through? So yeah, as I said, I'm going to go through the features and the upgrades of this, compare it to the Tokyo Marui Mark 18. So price on this, base price is $700. Now that is a lot of money. It's one of the more expensive MWSs from Tokyo Marui you can buy. I think the only one that is more expensive is the actual Mark 18, which I'm going to show you in a second. That one's $775, and that has all of the Daniel Defense markings. It's actually a licensed product, so you can see why it would be more expensive. This thing is not, it's not based on a real steel firearm. It's got a lot of cool features to it, but it's not in any way the same. It's a bigger gun, so I presume they need more material for it, but it's $700 out of the box. It's got a metal receiver, obviously metal M-lock handrail, the ZET system, which is an incredible system just for like gas efficiency. That's really good. Flat trigger, that's another thing that I really liked. When I'm looking at it, I like flat triggers, and I've put flat triggers, in fact, I'll get it out because I keep talking about it. This is the Mark 18. Oh. And I've lost you again. And we're back. Sorry, this is a reveal. This is the Mark 18 build that I've done. And as you can see, I've traded this out for a Guns Modified trigger box with a flat trigger. So when I saw this, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to have to change the trigger. I really like the trigger there. So I think that for me was great. And actually the trigger pull on this is a lot better. Like, it's not a hard break, but there's a little bit of take up, and it kind of has that mush that stock MWS triggers have, but it's better than I would say the stock MWS like Mark 18 or the M4 triggers. Ambidextrous controls, again, I don't really need it, but it's good to have them. You've got the ambidextrous bolt release as well, so you've got bolt release here, and you've got kind of that bolt release, quite similar to that SIG MCX style ambi. You also have stock and grip, which is pretty modular. You can change the angle of this thing in the back. It's got a QD sling point in. It's, you know, it's a very modern looking stock, but it's kind of cool. Also, you've got a QD sling point there, which is where I always have my back sling point. So again, it's something that I didn't need to change. So that was really good for me. Longer barrel, so that should mean accuracy is a bit better and you can get a bit more FPS. And obviously it's more that DMR style. I think when you're looking at gas blowbacks generally, they're probably not the best platform normally to do as a DMR, because the actual efficiency, you know, like also the consistency in the range is not going to be potentially what you could have with an AEG or an HPA, but it's cool. It feels awesome when you're shooting it and you have recoil. So if you are like, I want to get a gas blowback more DMR, or you want to put an AirTac or a TAP HPA adapter in it, and then you can have that consistency, no cooldown. So you could definitely use it in that way. But it's more of a DMR platform, which I think is more rare to find generally in that kind of gas blowback. It also comes in two variants. So it comes in this with the silver outer barrel, and it also comes in a variant with a gold outer barrel. I did not go for the gold. For me, that was too flashy. But even with this, you know, it is pretty obvious that it's a kind of more fluted barrel kind of race gun style. What I actually plan to do with this is to paint it. So I'm going to get my spray paint, do some good camo on it, and then hopefully it's going to be looking a lot more DMR subtle kind of build. This is another thing I like, which is the vertical pistol grip. I like a lot more vertical instead of angled, and so just having that as more of an angle, so more of a vertical grip. Again, that's stock, so I didn't have to buy another thing for it. I'm paying $700, but I'm not paying extra just to do the things I want to do. You've also got this kind of flared trigger guard as well, which is just good for getting your finger in. So yeah, so I mean, like the actual controls of it is, you know, it's pretty good. This actually is a plastic dust cover, which I don't know why they did that, but I don't think it really matters that much. So upgrades, what did I do to this? I didn't want to do any kind of heavy upgrading. Don't want to mess around with the MWS magic. So things that I did actually are not too much internally. I did change some things. I actually put a lightweight aluminium MEC Stock Buffer in there. That's $20. So that is just aluminium lightweight. It just probably takes a bit less gas to do that. So I could get a bit more performance out of it, to actually like push that buffer back. In fact, the stock one is plastic, so it's going to be heavier, but I normally put a heavy steel one in for more recoil. Didn't feel like I needed it with this because it's more of that DMR range build. Bavtac ZET Plate, so on the actual trigger box, that's just what catches the bolt back. I always put those on everything just because it's a lot better at getting consistency on the bolt hold when you've got an empty mag. I put an upgraded inner barrel in it, so that is a Prometheus inner barrel, very long extended one just inside the flash hider. So that was about $60, I think. And then I of course always put my Flamingo hot rubber in here, the pink one, and that was about $12 to do that. So I just kind of think that's going to give me a better seal, more consistency, gives you a better hop, more range, and works better with those longer range. Like gives it more hop up, so it's better in that longer range environment. I've also actually got a flash hider on here which will take the Dead Air Sandman suppressor, so when I want to put that on, I can do that for sure. So that's kind of internally what I've done. Externally, really, it's only that flash hider, and then this, which is a primary arms, which you always hear in Garand Thumb, PA is right there. Primary arms, so there's one of their own optics. It's called the, what is it called? It's the SLX 3X Micro Prism Scope. This thing is amazing. I again thought, you know what, do I want an LPVO? I'm not going to be able to show you this, but it's like a really, really good, very clear prism scope. And obviously it's very compact. But some people might think it looks a bit strange on this because it's very much not taking up any of the rail space, but it keeps it very light. And actually it's got an illuminated reticle. It's 3X, which I think for a DMR and for Airsoft, I don't think you really need much more than 3X, especially if you're shooting. Maybe to check things out, it's good to be able to zoom in further. But realistically, the range on an Airsoft gun, 3X is going to be probably the max that you're going to need because you're not making pinpoint shots at 700 yards. Like, that's not going to happen. It's not a real still firearm. So for me, the 3X on a DMR was perfect. It's got good eye relief. So yeah, so I think it's a good one. So to compare this to this, as you can see size-wise, they're pretty different. This is your short 9.5-inch barrel. This is a 16, so this is a lot more compact. It's a very good platform where you can use it just as a regular primary or actually as a as your CQB gun, because I just love that kind of rail. I absolutely love this Mark 18, and if I had to pick one, I would go with the Mark 18. But this is heavier. I've obviously got attachments on it, but this does feel heavier when I have it. It feels a lot less lightweight. This is a lot thinner. The grip and the actual handrail on this is a lot thicker. So, it feels like this is more skeletonized. This is a lot more chunky. Ergonomics wise, this has got ambidextrous. This doesn't. This is just right-handed control. This has got branding on it from Daniel Defense. I've actually changed out a load of everything for Daniel Defense on here. This isn't stock, just so you're aware. If you want to watch what I've done to this, go and watch the Mark 18 video and you can kind of see me going through everything I've done. Yeah, so then aesthetics, licensing, as I said, you've kind of got licensing on this. You don't, because this isn't based on a real steel. This is them kind of doing something more fun, which again, if you're going for real milsim, more of your Mark 18 probably appeals to you. If you're going for more like, I want something different, the MTR for me would be pretty great. Trigger and performance, MTR trigger on this I would say is better. I like flat triggers though. I like having a big flared like trigger guard area, and always the MWS triggers aren't great. They're a bit mushy, but I do think I've changed this out so it's hard to do a like for like, but I do think this does feel better in general. The rolls for this, as I've said, this is more of your DMR rangy. Going around corners with this in a building is going to be very, very difficult, especially if you want to put a tracer or a suppressor on this thing. It's going to be incredibly long. This is the length of an M16. So just bear that in mind. This is going to be for Airsoft a lot more CQB. If you want to use it outside, the performance is going to be similar. So just from a performance basis, I would say this is, unless you're doing some crazy stuff to this, this is really going to be probably the one that fits most people's buckets. So that's kind of, I've set that up for CQB. I've set this more up for DMR. I haven't put a PEC unit on it. I haven't done a lot of that stuff just because I haven't seen it's necessary. I may well do some different stuff, put a bipod on it, But for right now, for me, this is a very minimalist DMR, which I like. The great thing actually is they both take the same mag. So if you're like, hey, I would love a DMR, but also I want something for close range, this will take those mags, and this is a Guns Modify Evo mag, so not the one that comes with it, but those mags are cross-compatible with all MWS, so MWS systems, so that's great. Right, pros and cons. So the pros of the MTR-16, I'm not talking about this, so I shouldn't be holding it. Pros of the MTR-16, lightweight modern design, which I really like. It's an excellent trigger for stock, and the ambi controls are great to have. It's more gas efficient, I would say, than anything else in terms of your, Tokyo Marui are amazing gas efficiency. So you're going to get potential DMR performance, or you're going to put a lot of rounds through it before having to change your mag. It does actually come with a little stubby mag, which can be good, but I always think, it looks great with a full-size mag on it. So I don't think that's really going to make a big difference. It's not like your M110, where you need a lot more space, but if you are lying down, it might be good to get those mags. And it's a good platform that you can upgrade with everything you could put into an MWS, you can put into this, which I think is good. Bad points, not based on a real gun. So if you're looking for that milsim stuff, that LARPing, it's probably not as good. Although if you spray paint it, you tune it, you could make it look very, very authentic. It's just not based on a real platform. It is expensive. $700 is a lot of money for this, so just bear that in mind. You're going to spend a lot of money. It's not like a $450 gas blowback, and you can get some very good ones of those right now. And the stock mag is 20 round capacity. You are going to have to buy different mags. These are going to be 30s. So, if you've got another MWS, great, but you are going to have to buy more mags. You're just going to get a 20 round mag with this, and that's not going to be playable. You're going to need to have multiple mags. It's gas. So would I recommend it? Yeah, I think it's a great platform. I don't think it's as mass market as that. I think if you want something that's a DMR, you don't want to have to do a load of upgrades because you want to do flat triggers, ambi controls, M-lock rail, then, I think it's a really good platform. So that's kind of my overview of this. I will give you just a quick shooting, like a little show quickly of what it's like. I actually put the stock bolt back into this. Originally, I had a different bolt in there, like an aftermarket, which was good, but it was not having the same gas efficiency. So I went back for the stock MTR bolt, which seems to work well. This will fire semi and full auto, which quite a few DMR platforms won't. I'm going to put on my sunglasses because I can't find my other ones. So this is it on semi. I'll show you this way so you can see. It's actually not feeding right there. Okay, as I say that, it's the mag. So the mag has got jammed. As you can see there, the BBs aren't feeding. So it's not the MTR that's messing up, it is actually the mag. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to go with less rounds. So I don't know what happened there, that was weird. Okay, so this is it in semi, and then in full auto. So it's got a good rate of fire. And that is kind of an overview of this thing. So I really like it, guys. I haven't used it that much, but I do think it's a good kind of part of my collection. It's not something I regret buying, but it is one of those things where I thought I would use it more than I would. I talked myself into getting it, and would I be able to use that money for other stuff? 100%. So that's my MTR-16 overview and kind of custom build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe. And if you want to get into the giveaways we're doing every single month, I've got some really cool stuff that we're going to be giving away. There's 2 membership levels, lower membership level for more tactical gear, and then a higher membership level for stuff like red dot sights, things that I get sent to review, which are quite expensive, airsoft guns, etc. So please do click the join channel below, check out what I'm offering, and if you can support the channel, that'd be great. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day wherever you are, and I will speak to you all very soon. Goodbye.